Clemson players, they were almost poached. Okay, almost means that they entertained it. But basically, other teams are tampering with Clemson's roster. And that was confirmed this week in the ACC media week. I'm going to dive into this in just a second. Welcome to the channel. If you love Clemson football, this is your channel. I hope you'll subscribe. It is free. I do appreciate it. And if you want the channel to grow, I hope you'll pass it along to anyone else who loves Clemson football. As of today, we're 5 weeks away from the opener with LSU on August the 30th. It's getting closer and closer. And before you know it, Death Valley, the real Death Valley Senior, will be filled. And Clemson has a lot of high hopes this season. But this week in the ACC Media Week, and I'm pulling this up on my phone. This week, it was confirmed by every player who went with Dabo to Charlotte to talk about the upcoming season that, yes, they had been reached out to directly or indirectly. Now, who are the players who went with Dabo to Charlotte to represent the team? It's a pretty big names. Obviously, Cade Klubnik going into his senior season, a guy who's faced a lot of adversity. A lot of people were calling for his head, said he was overrated. We don't care that he won 45 games in high school and never lost a game. We don't care that he played in 6A Texas football and won 3 state championships, too, as a starter. He was overrated. Okay. Next up, Peter Woods. You know, that guy, he's okay if you like a defensive lineman that will kill you without even trying. TJ Parker, a guy who's just ridiculous. Antonio Williams, the slot receiver, the old man of the bunch, and that old man can play. They all confirmed that in some form or another, teams had reached out to them. Now, I don't know why anyone would want those inferior ACC players. I mean, come on, y'all. It's not the SEC with the incredible teams like Kentucky that went 4-8 last year. I mean, or Mississippi State. I mean, come on, y'all. Why would you want these players? Took a swig of a drink before I dive into this. Now, I'm going to go ahead and tell you, if you don't like it when I rant, if you want me to get straight to the point, and I'm trying to do that more and more and more. I really am. Today is not it. I'm just going to go ahead and tell you, this is not one of those. So if you need 3 quick points of what happened, here's your 3 quick points. What happened at the ACC Media Week? They confirmed they were tampered with, and they decided that Clemson was home, and they're going to stay at Clemson. All right? They're not paupers. They're already making a lot of money. And we know Peter Woods and TJ Parker, unless something crazy happens, they're going to go in the first round of the NFL draft. There's your 3 points. I think that was 3. All right. Now, for the rest of you who will stick around, and I will try to make this concise, though I'm going to get pretty heated in this. I am glad that they came back. I'm glad that they didn't leave. And because of that, Clemson stands a really good chance, the best chance that they've stood in quite a while, since Trevor Lawrence and ETN and T. Higgins were standing on the sidelines, and a guy named Brent Venables. They stand a really good chance of having a special season. Tom Allen's on the sideline. Matt Luke's on the sideline. Garrett Riley has a lot of weapons, so there should be no conservative play call against LSU, or we can't do that because we don't have the pieces. We do have the pieces. So that's out of the way. But I am going to talk about people, and this is going to deal with fans, this is going to deal with players, and this is going to deal with the hypocrisy of fans. Now, you have to understand when you do what I do, and I'm just doing this for fun. I have a YouTube channel. I love talking Clemson football. So I started a YouTube channel talking about Clemson football. By the way, I started another channel called Another College Football Podcast. Why? Because there's so many out there. That link is below. I started that channel probably 3 weeks ago, roughly. So if you like talking college football, I just previewed Tennessee this week. I hope you'll go over there and you'll subscribe, help the channel grow. You know me, I'm going to call it like I see it. I'm going to call it like it is, like I is. As I almost said that, you should make fun of me for that. But go over there and subscribe and pass along to your buddies who love college football. But if you watch my channel, you know that sometimes I get heated and I get really upset. And one of the things that I get upset about is how, and it's expected. I expect this, by the way. I expect it. I'll tell you how I expect it. If someone farts, I expect it to stink. If it doesn't, I think they're either a unicorn or something's majorly wrong with them. They have one of those fart machines that makes the noise. But it is expected among fans for them to be delusional. That fans become delusional when you try to use logic. Fans become hypocritical when you bring up facts. Part of the reason this channel has grown over the almost 3 years I've had it is because, well, I told the truth about Clemson's program when it started falling apart. And I lost subscribers for that because people could not take it. They needed me to sing or hum the Tiger Rag. And I just wasn't willing to do it. I was like, yeah, I grew up in that area. I'm probably more Clemson than most of the people who's attended there. I'm probably more Clemson than people who will go and pay outrageous prices for season tickets so they can sit at the very top of Death Valley and they'll never see the player because the players are teeny tiny down there. You need a binocular. You need binoculars to see it, a magnifying glass. But I called it like I saw it. And so I'm going to call out any and everyone who does not understand that it is truly special that these guys stayed at Clemson, but at the same time, we need to realize that they are not paupers. Cade Klubnik, I believe he will, let me see what the numbers are. I think he will make $2.5 million. Now, do I believe Cade loves Clemson and that he loves Dabo Swinney? Yes, I do. And Dabo believes in Cade. And Cade believes in Dabo, and he should. But when you look at these players, Cade will, and I'm reading this from thestate.com. Earlier this year, it was reported by TigerIllustrated.com that Cade will make about $2.5 million this year, and Woods is one of 3 other millionaires on the 2025 roster. Folks, they're not in a cheese line. So for them to stay at Clemson, it's not like they're not making money. And that's another thing that people need to understand about Clemson's program. Per thestate.com, Clemson committed 86% of its revenue sharing pool to football, which gave the program a roughly $15.5 million salary cap for player retention and acquisition. And that's before additional stackable NIL earnings for individual players. Now, when they say they're going to stay at Clemson, maybe they are turning down more money, and they most likely are. Because someone says, hey, I don't want the entire Clemson football team, but that TJ Parker guy, I really like him. He wreaks havoc. That Peter Woods fella would fit in really well on my football team. That's what you need to understand about NIL and the transfer portal, is not everybody's worth that much. Now up here, they may think they're worth a lot. But a guy like Peter Woods, if he were to enter the transfer portal because someone said, hey, we'll pay you more than Clemson, they're not paying all the other guys that much. But they're going to pay him a lot of money. They go after that one guy they really believe could be the key to their team being much better. Not everybody's making a ton of money, y'all. Or TJ Parker. Or even in a lot of schools, I know a lot of people love to pick at Cade, but Cade has progressed. And Cade didn't have a bad season last year. In fact, he improved a lot. There's a lot of schools that would love to have Cade Klubnik suit up for them. There's a lot of teams that would love Antonio Williams to play for them. So specifically, what am I trying to say? These guys are not poor. They're making a lot of money already. So when they turn down more money from a school, yes, it's admirable. Yes, I'm glad that they're still at Clemson. I believe that a lot of them really love Clemson. Why would you want to leave a school that you've spent 2 or 3 years at? You have the NFL in your future. You're going to make even more money, especially TJ Parker and Peter Woods. They're going to make a lot of money, folks. So let's not be delusional that they're sacrificing their entire life and all just to stay at little old Clemson because they just love that stadium so much. They're going to make a lot of money, and good for them. I'm not taking a shot at these guys. But let's bring some reality into the situation that they are taken care of. But that's a good thing. Clemson, they do take care of their star football players. And Dabo, with his push for this pay the players across the board, the players are being taken care of across the board. Heck, I'm even thinking about trying to walk on now. That'd be a good move for me and the family. Maybe you should walk on. Your job would be to go to class. I would enroll into some online classes and work out all the time. You get paid what, $150K or something like that? Plus in working out, you're going to look better. My wife would be like, hey, really, instead of joining a gym, you join a football team? Huh. It's funny if you really think about it. But they are taken care of. Dabo Swinney does take care of his players, folks. I know there was this program valuation that came out over the past few weeks that talked about the richest college football programs. Clemson is still very valuable. They may not be Texas. Hey, by the way, how many national championships does Texas have since 2005? Riddle me that, Batman. What about Southern Cal, one of the richest programs in college football? Hasn't helped them. You could turn around and talk about Ohio State. Fair game. That's fair. That's a good point. Michigan, okay. It took them forever to get a national championship. And I'm not picking at the Wolverines and their fans, but it's absolutely riddled with potential cheating. So even with all the money that they're dishing out to their players, they also have this scandal that they can't get away from. You can fire this guy and fire that guy, but every time you bring up that national championship, sure, they have the trophy, sure, they have the money, and they have a scarlet letter on them. Where am I going with this? There are people, and this is one of the other things. This is just me getting this off my chest. There are people out there who would criticize these players. Here's the other side of it. They would criticize these players if they actually took the money and run. Now, here's where fandom becomes delusional. Fandom becomes delusional when we look at other people and say, I can't believe they did that thing, when you yourself does it. Now, for some of you, you know that I'm a Christian. I'm not a perfect guy. I mess up. I say stupid stuff. I do dumb things. I'm like, why did I do that? But that's part of Christianity. You don't have to be perfect to be a believer. That's actually the whole basis of Christianity. You're not good enough. No matter how much you think you are, no matter what you do or don't say, you're not good enough. But through Christ, you can be saved and you can be transformed. And it's a process. It doesn't happen overnight. I thought they said they're Christian. He said a bad word. Yeah. With that said, Jesus couldn't stand a hypocrite. Like, I mean, really, Jesus could not stand a hypocrite. That really ticked him off. And when we look, no matter what your belief system is, people as a whole don't like hypocrites. But I side with Jesus here because he's, the Son of God and stuff. He couldn't stand a hypocrite because when you look at someone and they are just pushy on other people about a certain subject when they themselves will do the same thing, even in a smaller matter. It just doesn't make sense. It's just cringy. And you want to talk about cringy. You have guys who are filling the Clemson forums who's talking about, I can't believe that this player would consider leaving or that player did leave for more money. And these are the same people who will leave a job and go work somewhere else for an extra $3 on the hour. So let's paint this picture a little clearer. You have a guy over here who left for the $3 an hour raise, go to another job, and he's criticizing a guy who's young, who's going to get an extra $250,000 to $500,000 to go play football somewhere else. And you just can't see that. It's called a double standard. It's called hypocritical. And it's wrong. We see these guys hit the transfer portal, and I start seeing people going, oh, it's all about the money. How many hours a week do you have to work to make the money that you make? Now, some of you, you're doing quite well, and for that, that's good. Remember, money is not bad. It's the love of money that is evil. That's a pet peeve of mine when I hear people misquote that. Bible says money is... No, Bible didn't say that. You're lying. The love of money. And the reason why is because if you love money, you will steal from people. You'll victimize people. But money in itself is amoral. So if you can earn $1 billion and God's giving you that gift, that ability, you're actually not using your ability that you have to make money. That doesn't make sense. What's wrong? What's wrong with you? Well, I'm just trying to live comfortable, says the person who doesn't understand inflation, who for some reason thinks they have a crystal ball up here that can foresee any and every tragedy or expense that would come out of nowhere that you can't predict. Doesn't make sense. A lot of that, and I won't say all of it, but I'll say with certain people I've met, that's actually quite prideful. It's people who are like on the inside, they kind of, well, I'll tell you this, I live a comfortable life and that makes me a good person. Again, no. Maybe you're doing that just because it makes you feel good about yourself. But you can't believe that one of these guys would leave and take $250,000 more per year. It does not make them bad. I am glad at the end of the day that Dabo Swinney has truly built a culture. And there's things, I've sat there and went, okay, Dabo, you need to focus on hiring better coaches and you'll be fine. And he did it. And hey, listen, whether you want to agree with me or not, you can't stand the look on my face. You don't like the sound of my voice. You don't like the part in my hair. That's totally fine. And you're going to come from me with pitchforks and mattocks ready to just saw me in half. That's totally fine. I'm used to it. It's what happens when you get on the internet. With that said, one of the reasons we're excited about this upcoming season is because Dabo went and hired Tom Allen, one of the best defensive coaches in America, a man who has the receipts of his success. It's not only one of these guys who's like, I've been coaching 25 years. Good. I know a lot of people who's been doing something 25 years and they're terrible at it. Or at best, they're subpar. Tom Allen actually has the receipts. And that's one of the reasons we're excited about this upcoming season. It's not only the roster, it's because guys like Tom Allen and Matt Luke are standing on the sidelines. So I was, and I'm not trying to be a jerk here, I was right about that. And you get more Tom Allens on the sidelines. I've said this recently, and I really mean it. They'll have to build on another wing at Clemson or another wall there in the stadium to house the national championships. And I believe that wholeheartedly. Talking about expecting a lot of your team. Yeah, expectation. When you have the right pieces and you have the roster, that's 1 + 1 equaling 2. That's not a stretch of the imagination. But Sweeney said this week, and I really like this. Dabo Sweeney said these guys have a choice. They can leave anytime. And it's true. And so credit to him for not only building a family culture that people want to walk into. And you got to remember, some of these guys, they don't come from good families. Some of these guys, they walk in and it's like, hold on, everybody doesn't talk to you like trash here. Well, I grew up being talked to like trash. My only saving grace was I was a good athlete. And that happens. So that can be extremely attractive to people. But then you turn around and you put someone like Peter Woods in the NFL. You in first round, you put someone like TJ Parker in the NFL. Antonio Williams, who was in Columbia, South Carolina. I know Irmo. Columbia, South Carolina. I think it was Irmo. But he's in Columbia, the suburbs. And he left there. He wasn't a Gamecock. He came up here to play at Clemson. Cade Klubnik chose Clemson, left Austin flipping Texas to come up here. Why? It is special. But Dabo has won. Dabo has 2 national championships. No matter what you think about Dabo, he still has the 2 national championships, and you can't take it away from him. No matter how many pot shots you may take at the guy, he still has 2 national. The question is, does he still have 2 national championships? Well, he didn't have Deshaun Watson, and he didn't have Trevor Lawrence. He did get them. Pre-NIL, buddy. Well, let's see it happen again today. Maybe he will. No one thought he would take 3 players out of the transfer portal this year, and he did. And all 3 of them are going to play significant minutes and be significant contributors to this football team. And Sweeney will change his approach. It takes him longer than what I want, but it takes him longer to adjust. But I'm going to tell you this. This guy, the reason that he has the highest, and I believe it's the highest retention in all of college football, is because of success, family atmosphere, and yes, money. Now, I'm not picking at Texas here. Okay, I kind of am, but I'm not. Steve Sarkisian can coach, and Texas has an incredible history. And they have money oozing out of them. They sneeze, and a couple of million falls out. You know? But Sarkisian said something recently. Something along the lines, this is not verbatim, but people want to come here to play at Texas because we're Texas. And kind of alluded to that it's not about the money. Meanwhile, there's a video circulating in social media of him walking into like I don't know, it was one of the facilities there. And the players, they had their cars lined up. And we're talking about luxury cars. We're not talking about a Dodge Charger. No offense to any Dodge Charger owners out there. We're talking about luxury cars. Lined up. And if my memory serves me correct, it was for recruits to see. Still, and it may change this year. I may have to eat my words, but it'd be the first time in 20 years Texas will win a national championship. They can't. In the business world, it's called return on investment. So you invest a lot of money with an expected return of XYZ. They don't have that expected, or they have an expectation, but that it hasn't been met. Clemson has something special. Now, does that mean that we can hire any coach that we want to? Well, we've already been down that road. And what did it lead us to? You can't. I don't care if they were a former player or not. You can't do that. You can have them there for culture and to talk about the good old days and everything, but you better have a Tom Allen and a Matt Luke at every position, ensuring that the guys are truly being developed, and that when you're creating strategy for a game, they know what they're doing. They can make in-game adjustments. And when the going gets tough, they earn every dollar of their multi-million-dollar contracts. Instead of going, well, they played here at Clemson and they know my talking points. You better have that. But all of these things are important. But I just can't stand it when I hear people talk about players and go, I don't know why they left the program. I guess they're chasing the money. It takes money to live. It does. It takes money to live. I'm married. I have 2 children. I have an 18-year-old who, by the way, I'm going to brag a little bit. He will be, I say brag, I'm going to just be happy. In 3 weeks, he returns. 3 weeks from today, he'll return from a mission trip. He's been gone since early January, and he's in another country, and we're very proud of him. But 3 weeks, he'll return. Of course, I have a 9-year-old, and it's expensive. Life is expensive. So when I hear people talking about, I don't know, I chase the almighty dollar. You're talking about the almighty dollar that you have to work so hard for? It's just when you work hard for it, you don't get paid as much. Folks, I'm sorry. We all have our faults, and some people are just hypocrites. And I just can't take it when they don't understand why players would leave a program, when they themselves will leave their job for an extra $3 on the hour at some manufacturer. It just doesn't make sense to me. But yes, they have confirmed, and I'm going to start closing this now. I got 69 of you in this video right now. I hope that you hit the thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, remember it's free. If you like what I'm doing, or if you just like to argue with me, I hope you'll subscribe. It is free. So if you want to join and support on a monthly basis, there is a join button below this video. It's $3 or $5, just whatever you feel like it's worth if you want to support the channel. Also, last but not least, I started a new channel called Another College Football Podcast. I'm picking at myself here because there's so many out there, but I wanted to talk about college football as a whole, but have another separate channel for that. So the link is below. I hope you'll go over there and subscribe and turn on the notification bell. If you want me to add you to an email list, there's people who's asking me to add them to an email list that I email them before I go live and let them know, hey, I'm going live, and I send them the link. I already have people who's asked me, hey, will you add me to that link? So you can put me a message. You can put a message here, or you can go to my email address that's in this that's part of this channel, and I'll add you to the list. So anyway, here's a closing statements for this. We're 5 weeks from the opening day, the season opener, excuse me, with LSU. And Clemson has a lot of really good expectations. A lot of that deals with players who chose to come back. They could have made more money, probably, but they chose to stay here. On the other side, they're still making a lot of money at Clemson, and their future is bright. Guys like Parker, Woods, Cade. I don't know how he's going to transition to the NFL. I believe Williams will be solid in the NFL and hopefully do very well. But my point here is there's a balance of truth and logic when you're dealing with these things. Now, who I would really like to know is who reached out to them. That is my closing thought, but really it's a question. Who reached out to them? And will we ever find out for sure who reached out to them and how did they reach out to them? I'm glad they're back. I'm looking forward to 5 weeks from now when Clemson and LSU kick off in Death Valley. A lot of trash talk is going on. I'm going to quickly get to the chat here. I'm always first. Love from Florida. Good to see you. I see David Woody in here. What's up, Brian? Good to see you. Go Tigers. Good morning. God bless and go Tigers. Donnie Wilkerson, Georgia fan, thanks for being in here. Hey, Brian, hope you're well. I've been down a little while. I just got diagnosed with liver cancer, so please, if you believe in prayer, keep me in your prayers. Yancey, I do believe in prayers, and I will be praying for you. I hope you get to feeling better, and I'm sorry about that. Thank you for being here. Hope me ranting and raving will make you feel a little better. Dogs rolling loud. What's good, B? Go Dogs. Good to see you. Let me see. What's up, Brian? We getting close to some Clemson football, SC country. If a team that doesn't want Clemson, that's the real Death Valley. Going to be a long ride back home when you live right up the road. Oh, Jared's talking some trash. Good to see you. Let me see. Definitely need some anti-tampering rules. No contact unless the player declares for the portal. Roger Parts, one of my buddies and supporters of the channel, supports on a monthly basis. Thank you for being here, my man. Thanks for sending that link over yesterday that you sent me. Taco Gaming 75. I agree with Kirby Smart that what we need to fix college football is the enforcement of contracts and NIL deals. The players should have to pay back the university or the transfer destination needs. Yeah. Absolutely. I agree with that. I'm going to tell you that would fix everything. If everybody wants to talk about, the coaches can leave at will, yes and no. Yes and no. Well, this player should have the ability to transfer here and transfer there. Yes and no. A coach has stipulations in his contract that says if you leave before this time, someone has to pay this buyout. You, the school, the whatever. I is ready for Tiger football. Mitchell Robinson, good to see you, man. David Wood, Texas Tech is spending crazy money. You're 100% right. Jason Wilkerson, May there, Brian. Good to see you, Jason. I know what you're talking about, my friend. Arch Manning didn't ride the bench for 2 years for tradition. Yeah, I agree with you, Roger Parts. Folks, I'm glad you're here. I hope you'll pass this along. Let me know what are you excited about with this upcoming season? Who do you suspect reached out to these players? And do you literally have someone that you could potentially point to that says, hey, I'm a credible source. It was so-and-so that reached out to this person. That would be really, really cool. Last but not, Cam Johnson, Lenore Sellers, that's all. Just kidding, I'm trolling. Gamecock fan here, hoping y'all beat the brakes off LSU. Cam Johnson, I'm glad you're here, and I hope we do too. Folks, y'all